Okay. And we'll probably, there's a lot of people joining as we speak, so we'll probably wait just a couple minutes before we put Gilbert on the hot seat. But yeah, perhaps Gilbert, I'll put you on the hot seat quickly, if you wouldn't mind letting the people who speak French know that they can sign on with a the interpretation button on the bottom of the screen. Perhaps if you you press more, you can choose your language and then listen to live interpretation if you want to hear the conversation in your own language.
Okay. Merci. Bonjour à tous. Patrick m'a demandé pour les gens qui veulent
always have before.
écouter la présentation en français, il y a moyen de, parce que je vais la donner en anglais.
There's too many people talking online at the same time. I cannot hear what they're saying.
Vous affichez les choix d'aller choisir le canal anglophone ou le canal francophone.
He's repeating what you just said, Patrick. Because some people didn't know couldn't hear what you were saying in English and didn't know how to get the interpretation, so they didn't hear me because you're not using the interpretation.
Right.
Okay, I'm done talking, so he says. Back to you, Patrick.
Perfect. Okay, so I've taken the liberty of muting microphones for people who aren't speaking. You can unmute yourself anytime that you wish if you have a question. And yeah, we're 2 minutes past the hour, so yeah, I'm sure people will continue to join. But Gilbert, whenever you're ready. I think you have the power to share your screen.
Yes. So, hello, everyone. I'm Gilbert Lavoie from Lavoie Conseil, and I've been doing market report for the wild blueberry industry for the WBANA for more than 2 years now, but for the Quebec producer for more than 13 or 14 years now. So the objective today is to present to you the October issue. I sent to Patrick to WBANA. I'll share my screen. This report, so it's available. This is a written report. I will not use this one for the presentation, but though the figure will be the same for sure. But here's the written report, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it. But I did present a quick PowerPoint to present to you the findings. And also, Patrick asked me to have the few slides. In fact, there's two at the end after the presentation of the bulletin about the summit, the North American Blueberry Council Summit that was held in Denver 2 weeks ago. I was there on behalf of the Syndicat des producteurs de bleuets du Québec, and I was there with their economists, so we had a chance to hear very good conferences and also to hear their strategy that they want to put in place to develop even more the market for blueberries. And I'll show you some of the findings we had at that meeting. So basically, if I start with the October bulletin, everybody can see the presentation, I guess. It's okay. So basically, I'm going to... Okay, great. What I'm going to do is there's two sections in the report. The first one is the market outlook, and the other one I'm going to do an overview of what happened last year. So basically, for the market outlook, the big headline I could say is we are expecting a much lower production than was expected in July, and this reduction in production is bad for volume, but it's going to be good to help to get better price in the market. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the production. I'm going to do for both wild and cultivated, frozen. Yeah. I'm going to talk about price trend and also the global supply of frozen blueberry. So basically, production in this year. When I'm saying 24-25, this is the marketing year, and my marketing year starts September and in August. So that's the 2024 production. It's going to be below average, the information I got, and it's still an estimate. I guess we're going to have even better data on that probably in January or February. But at this point, we expect production around 286 million pounds, which is lower than the average of 300 million pounds. Here's the figure. And this is for the last 10 years plus this year. This is since the production of 2014 up to 24. Basically, the number here is the level of production in North America. North America includes, obviously, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Maine. So basically, what we are expecting is that the production this year will be down from the last two previous crop year, and I'm estimating it at 286. If I go through a split by region, I guess Quebec will be around 93 million pounds. That's the number I got. Nova Scotia, I had figure between 35 and 40, so I choose 37 and a half million pounds. PEI, the forecast I got is 20 and a half million pounds. And for New Brunswick, I still remain at around 50 million pounds, but so this is the number I have. And for Maine, I heard figures between 80 and 90, so the number I have here is 85 million. So basically, the production will be below average this year. And usually, and this is, it means that price will recover. And here, here's exactly the same figure I presented on the previous slide. You see the annual production, you see the averages, and the price to producer. This is the maritime price. That's information I get year after year. This is the base price. I know there's premium above that. I did not include them. But basically, that's the base price for maritime producer. And as you will see later in the presentation, could either use the producer price or the export price for frozen wild blueberries, because they are both almost 100% correlated, meaning that when the export price goes up, the producer price goes up, and when the export price goes down, the producer price goes down. So basically, what we can see here is every time that the production is above 300 million pounds, the price goes down. It's been there. And in fact, I have a figure for starting from almost 30 years. It's always the case. So your price is very, very sensitive to the level of production. So basically what I'm saying is, since the production is below average, you will see, I'm expecting a price increase. At this point, it's hard for me to say exactly by how much, but I think it's going to be significant. In the next, the future bulletin I will produce, I will get data from the export figures. The export data, I always have a two months lags in terms of the information. So I will receive the first export for September, let's say in November, and so forth. So basically, what I'm expecting here as the dot line, I'm expecting a price recovery at the farm level and also at the on the export market. I will follow that and I will report that in future issues.
Yeah, things on mute.
Here's the frozen cultivated blueberry production for North America. Again, it's the main producing area in the United States. That's only for frozen. Those figure comes from the NABC and the industry review. I got those number in last 2 weeks ago in Denver. So basically, they are expecting very well. They have a bumper crop in BC, British Columbia, and they have very good production also in the west coast of the United States, and that's where most of the frozen blueberries are produced. So basically what we're expecting is 400 million pounds, which is almost a record high for blueberry, cultivated blueberries. Their average is 360 million pounds. So basically I'm expecting there a very good supply of frozen cultivated blueberries. But the storage stocks were very, very low. So that's going to give a ease on the supply. That's what we're going to see on the next slide. The other thing I wanted to indicate to you here is last year production was very, very low due to the effects of El Nino. This effects did not impact this year production in North America, but it still has some residual effect in the South America. I don't have the specific figure for them here, but their production will also be down. So basically, there will be more supply of wild blueberries, but the supplies from the South America will probably ease a bit. Basically, that's the global supply. This is total supply for frozen blueberries in North America. How I established the total supply is fairly simple. I had the production of both wild and cultivated blueberries, and also I had the inventory level from USDA of the July 31st. So before they start to froze the blueberries in the US, that's the residual inventory before they start to put the new crop in the freezer. So basically what we can see here is that the global supply though will be fairly flat. So which is a good news because so what I'm expecting, because we will see that later on, last year, in fact, at some point, the wild blueberries were sold at a lower price than the cultivated blueberries, which is not normal. Usually we get a premium for the product. But this year, with the low supply or low production level or low supply also of wild blueberries and a better supply of cultivated blueberries, what I'm expecting is that we will gain again a premium out of the cultivated price. And this information, I will follow it through the export value and I will report later on in future issues. But that's what I'm expecting at this moment. So basically, that's for the market outlook for this new crop. And here we're going to go through the old crop, the 2023 production and the low price you receive as a producer and also as marketer in the export market. Basically, the export price of frozen wild blueberries in 2023 decreased nearly by 30% compared to the previous year. This is here the export price maritime since 1995. As you can see, it varies a lot. We have discussion about this, the negative effect for your market of having such a great variation in your price. If you are a hand buyer, you don't like that too much. And if you're a producer, you don't like it either because you like when it's very high, but you don't like when it's very low. So we need to tackle that. There's some strategy that may be put in place. We'll discuss that later on with the NABC report. But basically, I compare it to the cultivated export price from British Columbia. So basically, the price was in 2022, you were exporting at $2.28 per pound. Frozen wild blueberry compared to $1.66, which is exactly roughly the same price that was the BC was exporting in 2023 their cultivated frozen blueberry, and the previous year was $1.81. So sure, there was more pressure on the market. The storage stocks were high. In fact, the disappearance has been very good the last year. So and at the end of this, at the beginning of this new season, the good news is that inventories were very low. And as I have shown in previous report, inventory is a key factor in the level of price also you receive. So basically, the performance in the market was not very good last year. and that yield a poor price to producer. Here's the reason why I'm saying that. This is here the orange line. That's the gross export price of frozen wild blueberry. The reason I'm using gross here, I multiply the export price by 0.85 to remove the loss during the processing, because if the processor receive 100 pounds of blueberries from producer, they will lose some in terms of weight of garbage or waste material, everything. So basically, by using 85%, I get a fairly good, a very good relationship with the price paid to the producer. As you can see, since 1985, every time the export price goes up, the price to producer goes up, and when the export price goes down, obviously the price to producer goes down. So basically what we can see, the huge drop we had in prices on the export market translated directly to the price paid to the producer. So this year I'm expecting that both the export price will go up and the producer price should go up. So basically that's the main reason why the price was low to the producer in 2020. One thing, sorry for that, I added here, that's the, because I hear a lot of producer, and for good reason, complaining that the margin is very difficult. My own firm, I'm working in all the agricultural, for all agricultural field. I'm working in not only in blueberries, but also grain, pork, whatever, and potatoes and other sector of agriculture. And all my clients are complaining about the squeeze in margin for producer. And here's what I'm showing. That's the red line. This is the consumer price index that measures since 2011 to 2023. Basically, it measured the inflation in Canada. But here, that's the farm input index for crops. So that what we can see since the COVID 19, sorry, what we can see since 2020, the inflation rate of farm input costs was much higher than the general inflation. So that means that puts a lot of pressure on the price you receive to cover your cost. So the margin decrease is getting tougher and tougher, not only because the price was not good in 2023, but even with a price recovery, since your input cost has increased more rapidly than the general inflation, that put even a second layer of pressure on your margin. And that has to be followed. Hopefully, the farm input price and costs will stabilize, or even if it could decrease a bit, that's going to give you some ease. But as an industry, what it sent us as a signal is the price performance in the market will always be important for you guys, but it's going to be more and more important in the future. So that's the reason why I brought that.
Gilbert, on that
yes.
on that last slide, can you describe what's where we've seen the biggest increase in cost? Is it fuel? Is it labor? Is it
well, in fact, I don't show it here, but basically the most increase came from fertilizer, pesticides, because labor is probably the same than the rest of the industry, but fuel, those factors were badly impacted because this is the farm input price index for specifically for crop. It's not only specifically for wild blueberries, but for crop, and basically crop. The main factor that is included in the farm input obviously is fertilizer, pesticide, fuel. Those factors has impacted a lot. Also, the farm machinery cost has increased a lot since 2020. So So that's the main reason why we had a much more rapid increase in the cost of our input compared to the general account.
Thank you.
So basically, I'm going to go through the NABC and then I will open the mic for everyone who wants to ask questions. This is a quick overview. This is really a quick overview. It was a 3 days meeting in Denver. This is the National Blueberry, North American Blueberry Council. That's an organization where both, well, all members of the industry that works in the large field of blueberries could be member. You can be input supplier, it could be machinery, could be producer organization, could be processors, retailers. So it's a wide, their membership is very wide. In fact, the BC Blueberry Council is also a member of the Blueberry, the NABC Council. So who were there? Basically, this is sponsors, but just to let you know that people that are this meeting, you can see like major players such Nature Ripe, Giant, Fall Creek, Driscoll. These are huge. Tumbra, which is an equipment company. So there's huge companies that are a member of this, and they were there at the meeting, and they are very active. And the basic comment I want to bring here is they are working, all those companies, even Driscoll and Nature Ripe or even Giant, they are in direct competition on the shelf at the grocery. But in terms of market or strategy to improve awareness about the good of the blueberries, they are working together. They find very important that they have a common industry view how to develop the market. And after that, that's their private business, how to capitalize on that. But in terms of market development, they are working together. The summit themes, I will summarize it like that. They want to make sure that they will be successful in the growth in the future. And the reason why I'm saying that is what they are forecasting is, what they were saying and showing is that they are expecting that maybe in 5 years, the growth in production will be greater than the growth in demand. So they are seeing, because we are hearing that production has increased by billions of pounds over years, but the demand was always there. And remember, their main focus is fresh for blueberries. But now they realize that if they continue to grow like that, I mean, the demand will not keep pace with that. So their main discussions during the summit was, what do we do? And 3 options were presented. Do nothing. What they were saying, and they use econometric model done by a guy at Harvard University. If they do nothing, they are expecting a 40% drop in price because supply will be greater than demand. I mean, it's not hard economics, it's basic economics. The other aspect, you can say you can work on the efficiency at the farm level or even at the processing level, but the gain compared to the price drop will not compensate. So basically, what they are currently discussing at this point is to develop an aggressive market development strategy to maintain their price structure. In fact, they are looking for a checkoff of 2.5 cents per pound. For the fresh blueberry in the US, the price at the farm level is probably between $1.50 to $2 per pound. So it's probably 1.5% of the value of the product. But also one thing that struck me, their priority will not only be fresh now. They want to tackle the frozen market also. They want an aggressive strategy to develop the frozen market. And in fact, after the conference, I went to speak with the CEO of NABC to tell him, and I mean, we might be interested as a wild industry to join you guys and discuss. And in fact, I wrote to Patrick some information about that. So they'll be more than welcome to if WBANA or even industry member of the wild blueberry industry become member. In fact, the Syndicat des producteurs de bleuets du Québec are member. I saw one processor from Quebec, wild blueberry guys who was there too. So basically, they want to develop an industry strategy to develop the frozen market, and that at least we need to go and see what they're going to do, and if we can join them, I mean, there's probably some good money for us in the long run. And as I said, they are more than open to work with us because. Well, the other aspect I learned at that meeting is that even if they are competitors, Nature Rad, Driscoll, and other company giants or whatever, they realize that from a generic point of view, the more they increase the awareness of the consumer, the more the consumer choose blueberries. So they increase the size of the pie. It's going to be much easier for their own private marketing strategy to yield good results. So basically, that's how, and there's a major difference between selling product and market development. And basically, market development, they want to tackle specific countries, they want to tackle specific consumer characteristic, they want to tackle specific medium for marketing, and they have money because they get their money from the US checkoff on the imports and of blueberry in the United States. So they have millions of dollars. For sure, we don't have that as a wild, but if we can be there, become member, maybe we can sit on their marketing committee and try to influence their strategy and try to yield some results for us. That's the first takeout from them. The other one, there was another conference about the retail level. And the conference was about how to maintain a good price at the retail. The first point, quality, and quality. To have partnership between sellers and buyers and stick with long-term relationship. The last three factors, we were not very good for wild industry. And that's not the fault of producer nor processor, but we need to think about it. They were saying that they need constant supply year after year. We need to increase bag sizes. I don't know if I showed you here during a seminar, but I did it in Quebec. Every 3 or 4 years, I do a survey of the price and the size of frozen bags at the retail level in Canada. And our sizes were decreasing year after year. So what they're saying, increase your bag size, you'll sell more per purchase. And the last one is to maintain a fair and stable price. They were not saying a low price, a fair and stable price. And that's probably their best strategy to improve the volume and the market price and stability in the market. Basically, these are the 5 main characteristics the retailer are looking for in the US. And I would say those characteristics applies to retailers, but applies probably to any further processor or that value the IQF widely. So basically, that's what I had for you today. So I'm open for any question or comments, or I'll be more than happy to answer. I don't see all hands, so just feel free to jump in and ask your question. Oh.
Okay, I'll ask the first question to get things started, but we have Gilbert for a while longer. So if you're developing something, yeah, feel free to ask it. Gilbert, you mentioned that they at the North American Blueberry Summit, they wanted to look at targeting specific export markets. Did they talk about which markets they saw as the most promising?
Not in detail. In fact, what they were saying is that they form a marketing committee to look after that, but also they have done last year, if I remember well, and I think I sent that report to some of you guys. They published a major report about where is the market they want to tackle, what are the characteristics of the consumer in several countries, which one are the most promising, the level of penetration, all those data are available. And I can, if you write to me or to Patrick, I think Patrick, you have a copy of that, it would be circulated. This is a public document. And just to add, that's the reason if we become a member, we may become part of the marketing committee and we may influence their decision, or at least bring very good information for the industry and help our processor to do a better job. There was a question in the chat if we can get a copy. No problem. In fact, the report, if I, sorry for that, this report will be circulated. I don't know, Patrick, where they can get it. It's through WBANA or?
Yeah, so the PDF report that you started with at the presentation that was circulated to growers associations on over the weekend, and then I believe I've seen it already distributed by Nova Scotia. I'm not sure the distributions. I think in the past, New Brunswick has a print newsletter, and they include that, so that timeline's a little bit later. So yeah, people can reach out to us or to myself directly for a copy if you wish of that PDF newsletter. And yeah, if Gilbert, if you're comfortable sharing the slide deck as well, then
yes, no problem.
then send it over to me, and yeah,
I'll do that.
We'll do that. I will. We have an upcoming board meeting with our board and the WBANA US board, and I think we'll borrow one of the slides from that National Blueberry Summit. I think in one of our presentations, just so that everybody's up to speed on that. I think that was very valuable. So this will be, I guess, like an auction. So another call for questions.
Yes, it's Russell Weir speaking.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question for our guest speaker. I know there are a number of very worrisome developments within the wild blueberry industry, not to mention the ever-growing numbers for the cultivated crop. And again, most recently, an effort to apply a tariff on Canadian berries entering the U.S. market, which was, thank goodness, denied. Yeah, had that gone through, I'm sure it would have been another cost in our pockets here. I'm just curious as to how strong that ruling was to disallow the tariff on Canadian imports, and if that's strong enough to hold, especially if we look at the prospect of Trump becoming president with his penchant for tariffs. Perhaps you can make a comment on that. Thank you.
I can say a few words about it because I was involved as to support the Quebec lawyers who defended the no tariff for Canada during the hearing 2 years or 3 years ago. In fact, the U.S. producer or industry may file at any time a new new request for countervail duties. Where I'm, and that was also, how could I say, you can feel it when I was at the NABC meeting, to be honest, because there was guy coming from Peru and Chile, and especially the guy from Peru when he was touring about explaining what's going on and production level, and everybody were asking him a lot of questions because the issue basically for the cultivated blueberries, it's mainly for fresh. It's for the period. How do you say the first for states like Florida, Georgia, all the South states where they start to market fresh product early, let's say March or April. And in the past, they used to get very good premium because they were the first in the market, in the fresh market. But over time, the Perus and even Mexico started to sell fresh products during that time period, and the price, they were not getting as good prices as they used to, let's say in Florida. So basically, my fear is when the price to the producer will go down, if it goes down to a low level, I'm quite sure we're going to see a lot of pressure on that from that angle. So basically, what countries such as Peru and Chile are doing now, they are trying to limit their export in the U.S. during this spot price period, and they are trying to diversify their market. And I also published 2 years ago a report saying that maybe we should also, as an industry in the wild, try to think to diversify our market also to limit the pressure in the U.S. market.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I may, I'd like to take the opportunity perhaps to get a feel of the room here as of what people think about joining that NABC council, since we have a meeting next week. And perhaps, if I don't know if it's possible, by just putting a thumbs up or raising the hand on your screen, just to have an idea of who's favorable in that direction, and if there's any strong opinions against it and what they are.
We're trying to differentiate our product, the wild blueberry, from that of the cultivated. And it would seem to me that if we join a very large, powerful group with lots of money, I shudder to think how much influence we might have in there as a direct competition to what they're trying to accomplish. So I don't hesitate to support the idea of attending the meeting, but full-blown membership or whatever else might be involved would certainly need a lot more study. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's material for people to know the cost. We're looking in the neighborhood of a $5,000 US membership fee to be part of the to be part of the North American Blueberry Council. So we're not, we're these high checkoffs that Gilbert was describing. Gilbert, can you clarify that that's what the highbush association charges their members is? So we wouldn't be signing up for anything beyond a fixed year membership fee, is my understanding.
Yeah. Basically, I'd just like to add about, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm a strong advocate to speak about market differentiation, especially to differentiate wild from cultivated. But basically, they are already in a mood of market segmentation. So what I'm saying, for sure, we won't be able to to dictate their strategy, but at least there's a lot, I think, that we can take out of their studies and information they are providing. So basically, that's my point.
would it be fair? I see that Lori is on the call. Lori, there's no pressure, but would you be comfortable sharing any thoughts on that conference?
Laurie? Je crois que Patrick aimerait que tu interviennes.
I think Patrick wants you to say something.
Can we use the translation? If you want, can we translate from French to English? That's going to be easier for Laurie to speak if it's not a problem for the interpreter. And then you can choose the English channel, everyone. Will it work, Patrick?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Laurie can speak French and the interpretation
I'll go
will be
in
in
French
English.
with Laurie and she can explain. Dans le fond, Laurie, Patrick aimerait que tu parles un peu du voyage.
We have to change.
Laurie, he wants you to
qu'on a fait ensemble,
he wants you to talk about what we did in Denver together.
Do something.
Too many people talking at the same time here.
For everyone, if
Yes.
you want to understand, you go to interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and choose English channel.
He's explaining to you guys how to use
Elliot,
interpretation.
or is there any, before I continue in French? That's okay for everyone? Okay. Donc, Laurie, ce qu'il voulait savoir, Patrick, c'est quoi tes vues puis comment tu as trouvé
Okay,
la
she
rencontre,
what Patrick wanted
NABC,
to know is how you
puis
saw
voir
and
si
understood
il y a
what
des
went
liens
on
d'affaires qu'on pourrait établir ou
and what kind of
liens
link or
avec
relationship we could create with those people in terms of strategy.
Ben, c'est certain là, que moi, j'ai
Of course,
trouvé ça pertinent d'être allé là-bas.
I found
J'ai
it
trouvé ça
quite
intéressant
pertinent
aussi
to
de
be there.
de
It
voir
was
leur positionnement, là, un
good to
peu, l'approche
see how they were
immobilière qu'ils se sont
positioning
donnée.
their approach and
Puis
what
leur
they intend to
volonté
do the next
de
year and their will to
supporter une croissance,
keep on
de
supporting
développer des
a
marchés pour supporter
given
la
growth, to
production,
develop
puis travailler
market,
vraiment
to
de
support
façon
production,
coordonnée
and to work in a
sur l'ensemble.
coordinated fashion
Ça,
on the overall.
ben, je pense qu'on a
On
parlé quand même, Gilbert, tu en as parlé
well,
aussi, là,
I think Gilbert talked about it as well. There is a strategy here,
aussi sur le fait que tout le monde
and they also emphasize
sur le marché
the
avait sa place, tu sais, si les gens développaient leur niche, tout ça.
that if people really develop their own niche, there would be a room in the marketplace for them.
Premièrement, je pense que c'est
I agree with that. I do think that things are real big, so big. We cannot be against the wave, the current wave, but we have to try and spot our place in it. And I also think that there might also be an opportunity going to a niche as to what's going on in the cultivated, just like the Dutch. We need, they have a mission, it's clear. They have an objective. They want to make the blueberry the preferred fruit around the world. They want this fruit to become consumed, and they want to work on the growth of consumers and consumption of the blueberry. And I do think there are advantages to draw from that. And then then once we do that, we'll have to decide what position we want to take. Being aware that we have a difference, yeah, and we need to keep on differentiating ourselves. But it doesn't mean that we have to separate ourselves. We also have to think of the area of growth, the actual field area that we have around the world to cultivate or to go with wild. Thank you, Laurie.
Any question for Laurie, or was it clear for everyone? I don't know about the translation. I was listening in French.
Any question?
No, I thought that was helpful. So just maybe if we can bring Hugo's question back, if there's no other questions from anyone else, and we can maybe do a survey, and if you can use your hand raising button. So there's a in English at the bottom of the screen it says react, and and you can use that button to raise hand. So let's just say you can abstain, but if you think that it's a good idea to participate, you know, as a information gathering exercise with the North American Blueberry Council, if you could raise your hand, if you could raise your hand now. Perfect. And if everybody can lower your hands now. Okay. So if you think it's if you would prefer that we do not get involved with the North American Blueberry Council, raise your hand. All right, Hugo, I think that's helpful. Yeah, so that's every just checking the chat here to see if there's any other questions. Yeah, with that, I just want to thank everybody for your time, especially Gilbert for bringing us up to speed, and the market data. It's great to see that information presented with some context. It's also great to great to get that firsthand report from the from that conference. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And if I may, Patrick, and for all participants, and if you have any question or any issue you would like me to dig in terms of number data, just let know Patrick, and I will always like to receive requests from you guys, and it helps me to make sure that the reports are useful for you. So feel free to write to Patrick anytime.
Okay.
Or to myself directly. Some of you guys, some of you already phoned me in the past, but you can write either to Patrick or me. I'll be more than happy to dig and see what I could do to help you to have a better understanding of what's going on in the market.
Wonderful. Thanks everyone for participating.